Bon dia, Vacordia. Emer Burke here. Welcome to Tea with the Druid, and this is episode 388, brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. Now, it's a long time since I've done a tea, so lovely to see you. Not to see who's here. Hello from Ontario. Where are we? Oklahoma, lovely. New Zealand, it's Lloyd, lovely to see you. Birmingham, where else? We got people to see. Washington, lovely. It's lovely. Someone says it's warm and quite sunny for December. It's cold and dark here, but lovely. Brisbane, lovely. Brooklyn, Pittsburgh. Wow. So the bay is frozen, hoping for winter games and shenanigans. I hope you have lots of shenanigans. Beautiful. Ontario, Canada. There's Wyoming. Indiana, lovely. Sherwood Forest, beautiful. Somerset, blustery and rainy. Hi, Penny, and Bromley, and Oklahoma. Chichester, Ottawa, beautiful. Lovely to see you all here. Derbyshire, Herefordshire, Kingston upon Thames, beautiful. Pennsylvania, so people from everywhere, all continents and this side, both sides of the Atlantic. Folkestone and Kent, beautiful. 4 degrees, that's in North Carolina. I don't know if that's centigrade or Arkansas. Raleigh, that's Raleigh, Essex, LA County. Lovely to see you all. So here we are. I'm just looking out my window and how dark it is. And we're coming up close to the solstice. And I'm interested around light. I am a light person. I love summer. I love the long days and the energy that it brings me. And I seem to be able to do so much more in summertime. And then when I'm coming to into September, I go screaming and kicking into, the shorter days and the longer nights. But once I pass the autumn equinox, I'm ready to embrace the light, or the darkness, should I say. And I really, really love Samhain. And then when the clocks change and then it gets darker again, I really, really enjoy it. And now we're in the dark. And I really like this. And yet our ancient ancestors, what they would do at this time was, draw in, too cold, no farming to be done, that this was a time to draw in and maybe do some spinning or do some weaving, indoor tasks, sit around the fire and tell stories. And what do we do in this modern world? We're out busy, and whether you're a Christian or not, and if you're living in this part of the world anyway, you can't avoid Christmas. It's there as a secular holiday, and then obviously a religious holiday for many others. So this, for me, I struggle with this, trying to find time for reflection and stillness, and that is that's quite challenging. I see David says the crystalline light reflected off snow is lovely and unique at this time of year. Here it's dull, damp, and it's the kind of weather that goes into your bones. And if you're sensitive to rheumatism, this is the weather for you. And Liz says, I think the people who don't like this time of year, what they really don't like is that modern society expects them to carry on like usual instead of hibernating. I think that's exactly it, Liz. It's a really, really hard one, and I would love to be able to do it. But then there's people to be met, there's Christmas to be arranged, whether it's spiritual or not. I love the solstice. I have no pressure with the solstice. And this is when I have my gathering. It's a busy time. So next Sunday on the 21st, I'll be going to Knockrow, where there's 2 passage tombs. There's a joint alignment, one to the sunrise and one to the sunset. And I'll be there at the sunrise. And I've only ever seen the sun hit the stones 4 times in all the years I've been going. And then in the evening, I'll have my own here, my grove here, our solstice ceremony. And I love that. And that doesn't cause me stress, but Christmas does. And, you know, this is a hard time. So, Karasu, I'm on meds for depression and anxiety, and they don't go well in the heat. Winter is a godsend, and that's really interesting because for some, with the darkness, that can be quite a challenge. That people with depression, some are much better with daylight than with the dark days. But it's lovely if you can allow yourself to do that and go within. Absolutely. I don't know how other people feel about this. Yeah. So, anyone have tips for someone who wants to celebrate the solstice but works before sunrise to midnight on both days? Some people can come up with that. What is it, Liz? Says we've been having hurricane force winds here on and off for the past week, and it shows no sign of stopping. Luckily, the temperature came up and melted all the snow, or there'd be more accidents. Rob, John, your first Yule without your wife. I'm really sorry to hear that. I find Christmas very hard myself because, this will be my 10th Christmas without my husband. So it's a hard one. It can be a really, really tough time. And this is a time for being really, really gentle with yourself and very kind to yourself and allowing yourself to grieve and feel the pain. That gets amplified, I think, at this time. So my heart goes out to you because I know what it's like. So what was I going to say? That there's somebody who you've completely lost your connection to Christmas. I'd love to do that. I'd be happy with Christmas every 3 years, but I have family and I have children who say we're still having Christmas. So I do it culturally for those reasons rather than spiritually. And Fat Abby says, I find the connection with loved ones on the other side much stronger now than at Samhain. It's an interesting time because I think there's a strong reminder at this time, like and then Sophie says, in recent years, I've been feeling a sense of relief during winter. I really enjoy this time. Kathy, fall and winter are my season. Christmas itself is hard, but I love the solstice season. Well, I suppose I'm with you with that. Alice says, I love this time of year. It feels like going deeper and deeper. And I spend Christmas Day, just me and my cat, no stress, bliss. Actually sounds very nice. So it's Sean says, I love the sense of hope that comes with the wait for the returning sun. Yeah, and Sylvia says, blessed be the forthcoming Yuletide winter solstice. And Alan, who's in New Zealand, looking forward to it, should be pretty warm, just the opposite for most. So, and Eunice says, just 6 hours, 9 minutes between sunrise and sunset. Hi, Eunice. Long time no see up here in Orkney. Yes, so of course, we're talking about 2 solstices now, one in the southern hemisphere, which is the summer solstice, and this one in the northern hemisphere with the shorter days. What I love is, and we used to say it at the winter gatherings, it's Winter's Cloak by Joyce Rupp. And when I first came across it, it was like, yes, she wrote that for me. I mean, that's what it felt like. And I'm just going to read it to you now. This year, I do not want the dark to leave me. I need its wrap of silent stillness, its cloak of long-lasting embrace. Too much light has pulled me away from the chamber of gestation. Let the dawns come late. Let the sunsets arrive early. Let the evenings extend themselves while I lean into the abyss of my being. Let me lie in the cave of my soul, for too much light blinds me, steals the source of revelation. Let me seek solace in the empty places of winter's passage. those vast dark nights that never fail to shelter me. And I just find those words are just so comforting. I don't know how you feel about them, but they are just, it's like speaking for me, or it's a validation of that need to go in. Yeah, Philosophical says exactly how I feel. And Amy says, Christmas reminds me of losing my father as a child. It was on the solstice. But the solstice now fills me with love and hope. That's a beautiful turnaround, isn't it? It's called Winter's Cloak by Joyce Rupp. But it's just a really, really beautiful poem. So what I would like you to do now, so Julia says, I see Christmas Day as a time of celebration when the sun visibly begins its return journey. Some celebrate the birth of the sun and others the birth of the sun. Both new light and new life represent hope, and both are worthy of celebration and joy indeed. My challenge with the Christmas is the commercialization of it and the busyness rather than the spiritual aspect of it. And then Haley says there's a beautiful section in the book Anam Cara by John O'Donoghue that talks about how darkness brings relief from the light, relief from the burden. Yeah, absolutely. So, and darkness is required in this time. I mean, the stillness and the darkness and the restriction of winter is really, really important. The cold, the frost, certainly in this part of the world, to allow our seeds to be held in the darkness, and they need the frost, many of them, in order to germinate in the summer or in the spring. Like, for example, I'm just going to put this in. Daffodils, the flowers that have bulbs, they will not bloom unless they have experienced frost. I had a friend who lived in Ghana, and she brought bulbs out with her, and she used to put them in the freezer so that they would bloom. Now it's Winter's Cloak by Joyce Rupp. That's it there on the page now. Okay, so what I would like to lead you is in a meditation. This is a meditation, and it's about darkness. And it kind of straddles both Samhain and the solstice. But I wrote it as a story. It came from Howard, my late husband, and I, and Pamela Curry, who's the great niece of Olivia Robertson, one of the founders of the Fellowship of Vices, and one of Philip's teachers, and a friend of Nuan, and a friend of mine, and a friend of Philip's. She came with a drawing and handed it to Howard, and then he wrote a poem and sent it back to her. And then she came to visit us with a drawing of this old woman with these deep, dark eyes, but looked like her daughter. And then I came up with this story, and then I handed it to her. And then we came back and wrote other stories. And it was this beautiful collaboration of story, poem, and visual arts, creating this piece. So this was born from that. So just to invite you to become still and find a comfortable place in front of your computer. And just become aware of the floor beneath your feet and the ceiling above you and the walls around you. Become aware of your breath. Just breathing in and breathing out. Following your in-breath as it enters your body. Following your out-breath as it leaves your body. Remember, with every in-breath, there are possibilities. And with every out-breath, there's a letting go. Breathing in and breathing out. You might be aware of noises in the room around you or outside, and just allow those sounds. Remember, they are outside your experience, but hearing them can allow you to go deeper within. Coming back to your breath again, breathing in and breathing out. And as you go in, I would like you to imagine that you're leaving the room where you're sitting. And outside of that room, you notice you're standing at the top of some stairs. And you begin to walk down those steps. Slowly, having a sense of going deeper within as you descend those steps. And at the bottom of those steps, you see before you a door. And on that door is a symbol. Walk towards the door. Notice the symbol, open the door, go through it and close it behind you. And you notice the same symbol on the other side of the door. This symbol is your anchor on this journey. And you notice your guide is waiting for you on the other side of the door. And your guide takes you to the edge of a forest. You notice a path leading into the forest. And you follow that path. Being aware of the earth beneath you, the sky above you, and the trees around you. Noticing the colours, the sounds, the smells, the tastes, the textures as you walk through this forest. And you sense that autumn has fallen upon your life and upon the land. And you see everything around you so vividly. The trees standing in their magnificence, displaying the rich yellows and reds and oranges of the season. You watch the aging leaves as they cling precariously to the branches of the trees. You can identify with the leaves, still with their vibrant colours, still with a purpose, and yet soon it will be time to move on. You notice a large oak tree standing in a clearing. And you go up to that tree and you sit beneath it to enjoy the cool autumn air. All is still and peaceful. Suddenly, there's a gust of wind, and its force sweeps many of the leaves from their branches, sending them swirling all around you. And it is then that you see her, An Cailleach, the veiled one. Oh, so ancient, all skin and bones, her sagging breasts only hinting at the nourishing milk that has long since faded away. You look into her eyes that seem to carry the pain of generations. Her eyes are like deep, dark caverns, doorways to the other world, doorways to the soul. And they call to you, not through sound, but you can feel the call in your flesh and in your bones. You feel the pull getting stronger and stronger. You feel compelled to move closer and closer, in both fascination and terror, and yet you cannot resist the pull. You feel yourself being drawn up and into her cavernous eyes by some magical force. Inside all is dark, still and silent. like a barrow from ancient times. You wonder, am I dead? Is this it? Oh no. Is this really death? This nothingness? You feel betrayed. After all you've lived and lived for, it all comes to this. Nothingness. You want to protest, to kick and scream, but you can't. You have no voice. You have no body. You can't even cry. You have no choice but to remain in this stillness, in this silence, in this darkness. All you have left are your thoughts and your feelings. You will only torment yourself by your protesting thoughts, by your anger. So you surrender, and you become still in this silent darkness. You release all your hurts. You dream all that you've been before. You are nothing but your awareness. You become one with the nothingness of now, of this moment, the nothingness of eternity. And you become calm and peaceful within. You become aware of a serenity, a sense of bliss. You bathe in this bliss with a sense of being held. All is well. All is as it should be. And then you notice a tiny spark of light. And it slowly grows stronger and stronger as you sense it moving towards you. No, you're moving towards it. And from the stillness within you, you feel hope awakening and stirring. The light continues to grow brighter and brighter. And you feel a force pulling you towards the light. But you're frightened. You do not want to go. You want to stay here in the darkness and the stillness. You want to remain in this place of rest, this place of bliss. But now you have a sense of being pushed towards the light. You hear a voice telling you, it is time to leave this place of rest, this barrow. It is time to be reborn. And you're drawn to the light with a sense of anticipation, but also fear. What if? And with one final push, you find yourself out into the light. You sense your body again. And you look around you with fascination. You know you've been here before, but it is also as if you're doing this for the first time. Everything is new, and yet it isn't. And you become aware of holding something in your arms. You look down and you see a baby. You see her eyes, her ancient eyes, full of wisdom, carrying the stories from the past. And as you look into her eyes, you see into her soul, your soul, and you become one. You now become aware of yourself sitting again under the oak tree in the middle of that clearing, and you have a sense of lightness, of having shed what no longer serves you. You have a deep sense of gratitude to the oak tree, to An Cailleach, to the darkness, to the light, for the wisdom you have gained, for having been reborn and renewed. Holding all of this within, you begin to walk along the path to the edge of the forest where your guide is waiting to guide you home. Your guide leads you to the door with that symbol on it. You open that door, you go through it and close it behind you, seeing your anchor symbol. You begin to climb up those steps. Come back into your room. You become aware of the floor beneath your feet, the ceiling above you, and the walls around you, sensing yourself, all awareness of the other world fading, and sitting in front of your screen. You begin to wiggle your fingers and toes and take a stretch, if you like, a deep breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So it's time to end our session now, and I hope you enjoyed that meditation. It was nice to be back, and I think I'll be back every month, once a month from now on. Nimi said, perfection, the quickening of the sea drawn into light. That was amazing. Beautiful. Thank you. So, Philip will be back on the 5th of January. So he's taken a break for the season. I'm glad you feel liberated, Karasu. Lovely. Hi, Rhiannon. You're in Dublin. Wow. So I look forward to seeing you next month for another tea, and now in a few moments we will move over to the hearth for some biscuits. So restorative, lovely, great. The continuum of life. Thank you very much. Oh, Helen says, so beautiful, helps with the way I feel after the terrorist attack in Australia. Indeed. It's so important at these times, at this crazy world, is that we find that still center within ourselves and retreat there. It doesn't mean we're avoiding anything, but it's actually renewing ourselves and nourishing ourselves so that we can manage all of this. Okay. You feel made, so feel so steadied and readied after that beautiful meditation. Lovely. So, until we meet again, Slán go fóill.